My name's Hani. I'm a newly qualified doctor from London. If you're new here, I make videos on skincare for people of colour. I don't know why I suddenly just decided to be a YouTube fave, but here we are. You're not about to get on this flight, sis. I was interrogated for just under 2 hours. I also do talk about medical school sometimes and what that was like and other insights. First of all, I want to say if you're not new here and you watched my last video on hyperpigmentation, I just want to say thank you so much. Like, the reception was amazing. Like, I'm so grateful. I have so many people left so many nice comments and had so many nice things to say. And like, I read all the comments. I can't reply to all of them because honestly I thought I could, but there were just too many after a while. Because I am just talking to a camera and you just don't know if anyone's going to watch it, but to know that people watched it and they found it helpful and they told their friends about it and left nice comments and stuff, like, it means more than I can say. So thank you so much, and I sincerely mean that from like the bottom of my heart. Thank you. But as you might have seen, it's been a while since I did a video, and the reason for that is like my life has just been so hectic, hence like life update. So I started a new job. I started working in a new hospital. I also had to, I didn't have to, but I chose to move out because I thought if I'm working in a hospital where there's loads of COVID patients, I don't want to be coming home every day. So I moved out. You know, I have new colleagues. I live with new people that I've never met before. And yeah, it's been like a crazy couple of weeks. I would have filmed a video, but actually where I moved, which I don't even really want to talk about because it's just the most depressing thing ever. Like, I hate where I live now so much. Like, it's the worst place ever. But where I moved, the walls are extremely thin. So like, as soon as I got there, I just knew I'm not going to be able to film a video here. Apart from it being ugly, dirty, disgusting, like, it's also just not really realistic to film videos there. So I'm back at home for the weekend. And I thought I'd just film now. I think I need to figure out what's happening refilming because it's not that realistic for me to come home to film. People who know me know that I'm a very clean and tidy person. So I didn't mind, well, obviously I minded, but I thought I'm happy to clean it myself if necessary. But there's literally like hair stuck to the wall. Like, how does that even happen? And there was hair in the cutlery drawer and like the floor. Like, I cleaned all the surfaces as best I could. Literally I was cleaning for so long, I disinfected everything, but the floor was filthy and there's like dirt stuck into the floor, and I can't, like, that needs to be professionally cleaned. So bad. My mum is really sweet. She was like, should we change the floor? Like, should we rip all the carpet out and put like some wood down? But like, I know if I did that, someone would have a go at me, like someone would get pissed. So I just kind of feel like, I don't know. The commute is amazing. That's why I'm living there. The commute from there to the hospital I'm working at is literally 3 minutes, which is why I ended up there, but it's just not realistic. Like, I can't even, I don't know, like, my quality of life has been impaired. But aside from me ranting, it also means that I can't film this. It's not, and YouTube is something I kind of want to commit to. So I'm going to have to figure out where to move. I've started looking at places. I'm not sure where I'm moving yet, so you may see another background soon. Also, yeah, I started a new job. I'm working at a new hospital, and like, everyone's been, apart from the living situation, everyone's been so nice, so accommodating. I am finding it quite hard just because, like, working in a hospital since this coronavirus thing has happened, it's just like everything requires so many more extra steps. Like, I don't know, like, everything is just a bit more complex. So for example, like, I have a lot of deaf patients because I'm on a geriatrics ward. Geriatrics is like old people medicine, and a lot of them lip read, but we have to wear masks all day. So like, if I wear a mask, sometimes they won't understand what I'm saying because they like read your lips to understand what you're saying a lot of the time. But if I don't wear a mask, obviously I'm exposing them to my germs, so it's not really realistic. And also, like, this is kind of sad, but I bought some new clothes thinking like, oh, I'm so excited to dress professionally for once because of the COVID precautions. The hospital I've moved to, because not all hospitals are doing this, the hospital I've moved to, like, everyone has to wear scrubs all the time for hygiene reasons, and you have 2 pairs and you just alternate them on and off, and you're washing each one for like, obviously because you don't want to carry the virus home, but it's just like, I'm constantly washing as well. So obviously there's that. And then sorry, this is just me ranting basically, isn't it? I'm gonna get to a good bit in a second. And then also, one thing I didn't realize, like, this was, to be fair, naive of me, like, I don't know why I didn't realize this because I would see it happen, but like, when people would say, when I saw doctors, when I was at medical school and I'd be in the hospital on my placements, and I would see doctors being like, oh, I haven't even had time for my lunch yet, or, you know, I've stayed late 2 hours today, or I had to come in early today. I always just thought, like, why does that happen? Like, if you're allowed an hour off for lunch, just have your hour. Like, I didn't understand why people wouldn't get their lunch hour at work, or if you're doing a longer shift, like you get an hour and a half, like if you're doing a 12-13 hour shift. I always just thought, like, that's not going to be me. Like, I'm going to take, if I'm legally entitled my lunch break, I'm taking it. But then honestly, like, already, like, I don't think I've ever taken more than 30 minutes, even though I'm allowed an hour or an hour and a half. And it's just because, like, because I was just thought, like, obviously I'll just take my lunch break. I guess it's because, you know, this patient needs to have these bloods before she has the CT this evening. And if she doesn't have the bloods, you're delaying her CT scan. And that scan is really important because she's been having really, really bad symptoms and she needs to have it as soon as possible or her symptoms will get worse. And it's just like, okay, in that case, like, I'll not have the lunch. Do you know what I mean? I'll do the thing. So it's not even grudging. Like, I'm happy to do it. And I'm also hoping that, like, the longer I'm in the job, the more I'll get quicker at doing things and figuring out how things work. Because I guess also, like, being in this new hospital, like, I'm still figuring out how, like, the computers work and stuff and who's responsible for what. So just getting a sense of, like, how the job actually works. But I have, like, such a nice team. Everyone is so nice and so supportive. And, like, I just feel like it has something. I'm saying this now, I feel like I'm gonna have the worst week next week because I've just had such a good week. And the other really good thing I was gonna say is, I was saying this is not all doom and gloom. I actually love the job. Like I don't know, people just instinctively trust you. Like, if I say something, people just believe me because I'm the doctor, and I want to be someone who's worthy of that trust. So I think hopefully, and I feel like this is happening already, like, I think it's making me a better person. Maybe it's too soon to say, but yeah, just people just believe so implicitly what you say that I want to be someone who's worthy of believing. And, like, just, you know, just small things. Like, I had this patient and she was really stressed about this procedure that she was having, and I was just, like, making jokes with her, like, we were just having a laugh before she went in, and, like, she really calmed down, and she then consented to have this other thing that she'd been scared of. And I don't know, like, it's cute, but I'm really enjoying it. Maybe it's too soon to say, but I love it so far. Although it's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, just in terms of, like, how much you have to do. Not even in terms of what you're doing, just there's just so much to do all the time. And yeah, sorry, I just talk too much all the time. I'm gonna get to the Q&A. So a lot of you had a lot of questions about the hyperpigmentation routine that I shared in the previous video, and I'm going to answer what I thought were the most common questions, and I'm going to try and answer them quickly so this video doesn't become insane. Before I do that, I wanted to answer, I think it's 2 questions that came up a lot that aren't to do with hyperpigmentation, but just me generally. The first one is, am I an actual doctor? Like, not, there were a few comments that were implying, there are a few comments that were straight up stating she's not a real doctor, she's, you know, this other thing or whatever, and then people would be arguing about it, and it was just quite bizarre to see. The answer is yes, I am a doctor, a medical doctor, not a PhD doctor. I did medical school in the UK in the traditional way. Like, there was no backdoor funny entry or anything weird or anything unusual about how I went to medical school. Like, I went to school when I was young and then got good grades, and then did my, what we call A-levels in the UK, which are the courses you do to get into university. And I got good grades in those too, and then I did the medical school entrance exam, and then that went well, and then I got offers from a few medical schools, and then I just chose the one I liked, and then I went to medical school for 5 years, and in the middle, actually, I did a master's degree, just something I was interested in, I wanted to explore for a year. So in the middle, I just paused medical school for a bit. 1 year went and did this other master's degree, came back to medical school, finished, qualified as a doctor. Like, it was a very, very straight, it was the standard process. And when people thought, like, I wasn't a doctor, I just have to think, like, this could be a compliment. This could just be, you look young, which is always nice to hear. But also I was thinking, is it because, like, I'm interested in skincare and makeup and things like that? Does that delegitimize my credentials somewhat? Is it, like, I don't know, is it because I'm a woman? Like, I think sometimes, is it just like a misogyny thing? Is it because I'm a female? I don't know, but loads of people were defending me, being like, she is a doctor, I watched her medical school video. I was like, oh, I don't have time to reply to everyone, but thank you, like, that's so nice, thank you. Yes, I did do a medical school video, which you are welcome to watch. I am a doctor. The other question, which I think is a very valid question, I should have made this more clear in my previous video, I'll make this more clear from now on. Am I a dermatologist? No, I'm not a dermatologist. The way medicine works in the UK is you qualify as a doctor and you spend 2 years as like a general doctor, if that makes sense, like a junior doctor, and you're just a full medical doctor, but you're not specialized in any specialty yet. And that's the stage I'm at. And then after that, you go on to choose a specialty. I know in America, in the US, I'm not 100% sure, but someone kind of explained it as you do medical school, but then you choose a specialty and you start doing that immediately when you finish medical school in the States. In the UK, that's not how it works. So you're a junior doctor for 2 years and then you choose a specialty. And then I guess the next obvious question is, do I want to choose dermatology? And the answer is yes, I think so. I think I want to be a dermatologist. Obviously, it's the logical explanation, but the reason I say think is because I also really love cardiology, which I know is quite random. They're very different. So like the heart medicine, I don't know, like I don't know. I just find it really interesting. And I know they're very different, but that's where we're at right now. You guys can let me know what you guys think, if you think I'd be more suited to one than the other. Now I'm going to answer your questions about the hyperpigmentation video. And I'm going to try and keep it quick. So the absolute number one thing is just various questions on body pigmentation. So can I follow this routine on my legs? Can I do it on my arms, whatever, neck, etc.? The short answer is yes, you can. It would be very expensive though to use products designed for the face on the body. And the other thing is there are some other considerations about the body. And so for that reason, I have decided to make a full video on treating hyperpigmentation on the body. But with the body, the other considerations are that some parts of the body are more likely to be covered. And so there are considerations with like sunscreen and things like that. So I'm just going to do a whole separate video. The next question that came up so often, and I replied to as many people as I could, but then I realized if I'm replying to one comment, someone with the same question isn't necessarily going to see the comment, so I thought I absolutely just have to say it here. The morning routine. When I shared this video, I said I was going to include a morning routine and I just forgot because the morning routine is so brief. I'm going to share it now and I'll link any products I mentioned. Morning routine is very, very, very simple. I want you to wash your face of the actives that you put on the night before. So the actives were the things that were treating your pigmentation. And I want you to double cleanse ideally. So you wash your face to wash the actives off and then you wash your face again just to clean your skin. You don't have to double cleanse if your skin is like really, really dry or sensitive. One wash is enough, but if you could double cleanse, that would be great. And the reason it's so important to do that is because I told you that these active ingredients, a lot of them make you more sun sensitive, and that's why I told you to put them on at nighttime. And so if you're going to, step outside during the day, I want to make sure that none of those things are still on your skin. So washing your face, ideally, once you've double cleansed, I like to, and this isn't an essential step as I stated in the previous video, I like to use a niacinamide serum. I'm going to link one below. Niacinamide is an amazing ingredient for your skin. It makes your skin more supple, more moist. Also does play a very small role in treating hyperpigmentation. It's not amazing at treating hyperpigmentation, and it's not anywhere near as effective as the other actives from my last video, but it does prevent hyperpigmentation a little bit. And it's a really good ingredient for your skin in terms of your skin's elasticity, your skin's moisture levels, your skin's hydration levels. So I think worth using. And I explain how it works in 2 videos actually. I explain how it works in the Is My Skin Dry or Dehydrated video. I explain how it's good for your skin's moisture there. And I explain how it works against hyperpigmentation in my last hyperpigmentation video. So I think it's worth using. The next step is to moisturize. So just use something gentle, unscented. I literally don't know why there's fragrance in any skincare product ever.
Avoid fragrance in skincare because that shit is just totally unnecessary. I have very sensitive skin, so if I use perfumed products, I get contact dermatitis, so my skin gets a little bit eczema-y, like a bit rashy. And that doesn't happen to everyone, but even if you don't react to fragrance, it sensitizes your skin, so your skin becomes more sensitive, is more likely to develop allergies to fragrance and things like that. It's just hella unnecessary. So if you can find like moisturizer and things like that without fragrance, that's always better.
Rant over. Use an unscented, gentle moisturizer on top, and then last step is to use sunscreen. So just put sunscreen on. And sunscreen, you should really be reapplying every 2 hours roughly. Some sunscreen, not all sunscreen, breaks down under sunlight exposure, so that's a good reason to reapply. But also, like, a lot of your sunscreen actually does just get rubbed off as you're doing things throughout the day. So it's really, really important to use sunscreen. People always ask me what my favorite sunscreen is. I love this one. It's a Korean brand. So I just feel like it has to be too good to be true. I don't know what's in it, but it's literally the best thing ever. The reason I opened it is because I had a spare and I thought I'll show you that one. I just need to know what's in this because it's just too good to be true. If you can see, it goes on, I don't know if you can see that, it goes on totally clear. And there's a blue one as well, which is like, so this, I don't know if you can tell, it's got a slight sheen to it. But the other one, there's a blue version of this, and it's like totally matte, and it just is literally the nicest primer under makeup. And it's, so I'm just like, what's the catch? Does it just not protect your skin that well? But anyway, it's not in English. If anyone can find out what is in this, I would be so, so grateful. It's literally the best thing ever. The only thing is it's in Korea. I've been to Korea twice now because some loved ones of mine work there and like teach English and stuff. So when I've gone to visit, I just try different things. And the last time I went, I tried this and it's literally the best thing ever. So when I ran out, I made her bring me some, like send me some more, and it's just amazing. But obviously I have no idea what's in it. The other sunscreen I would recommend is the Roche Posay Anti-helios SPF 50. I'll link it below. It's just a nice one that's easy to find, because not my absolute favorite, but the reason I'm recommending that is because this obviously is quite hard to find. And some of the other sunscreens, you know, there's a brand called Biore, I don't even pronounce it. Biore, it's like a Japanese brand, I believe. They do some really good sunscreens as well that don't leave you ashy and have like a good SPF level, and like you can reapply them over makeup. But they're quite hard to find. Like whenever I've traveled, I just bring like as much as I can back of these things because I don't really know how to get hold of them otherwise. So my sunscreen recommendation is this one, and if you can't find this, the La Roche-Posay Anti-helios SPF 50, which is much easier to find. The next question that came up all the time was, do I have to do this every day? And the answer is no, you don't have to do this every day. And in fact, I would probably encourage that you don't do this every day, just because a lot of these ingredients are quite like, so I did say with the mandelic acid toner and that kind of thing, you shouldn't be doing that every day anyway. I made that very clear. But as I stated in that video, I don't want your skin to get irritated, and putting loads of things on your face all the time, I guess, can cause irritation. So I think it's important to take breaks. You don't have to do it every single day. I would say you could do it, you find something that works for you. So maybe you're doing this routine 4 days of the week, and the other 3 days you're just putting a good moisturizer on and a nice sunscreen in the morning. 1 day on, 1 day off could work, or, you know, 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off, if that makes sense. So 4 or 5 days a week you can be doing this routine, because I want your skin to not be irritated or aggravated, because obviously irritated skin isn't happy skin. It's not skin that looks good. Another question that came up all the time is, do I have to keep doing this to maintain results? And the answer is actually, if you protect your skin from the sun adequately, you shouldn't really have to do this. But the reality is, I don't think any of us protect our skin from the sun adequately. And what I mean by that is putting your sunscreen on, reapplying every 2 hours, being aware that if you're next to a window, you need to put sunscreen on. And now actually, it's a very famous picture in like the skincare community, but it was a man who was a truck driver or something, and he sat against the window, and UVA, which is the type of UV radiation that can penetrate through windows. Obviously, he was having direct UVA exposure on the side of his face that faced the window, and the other side of his face that didn't face the window was just getting diffuse UV. It wasn't getting it directly, but it was getting like the little photons, the light particles that were scattered around the room. So this side of his face is getting like indirect UV exposure, and this side was getting direct UV exposure. And you can see in the picture that I've inserted that literally one side of his face had aged so badly and that kind of thing. So that was a long-winded way of saying, if you're extremely diligent, where you're aware of, you know, this room is very, very bright, there's going to be lots of diffuse UV in here, or, you know, I'm right next to a window and the sun's hitting my, like, you know, if you're going to be really, really diligent about all of those things, then probably sunscreen is enough to maintain results. For everyone else who's diligent, but not all the way making sure every single 2 hours I'm exposed to the sun, I'm reapplying, which even I don't really do, I think it would be good to maintain the routine to some degree. You probably could like ease off and you wouldn't have to do it so much. But yeah, that's the answer to that. Another question that came up that not that many people actually asked me about, but I thought was worth mentioning, maybe because I'm a healthcare professional and it was just something that concerned me a little bit, was vitamin D. So if you weren't aware, your body produces this vitamin D, in response to sunlight exposure. And your face is obviously a main way that your body absorbs sunlight, especially if you're someone like me. Like, I cover almost all of my skin. I kind of don't always cover my forearms, especially because I wear scrubs at work. Like, I've kind of made peace with my forearms being there, but basically none of my skin sees the sun except kind of my forearms, hands, and my face. And then if I've used enough sun protection, sunscreen, whatever, then my face shouldn't be where my skin is absorbing enough sunlight to make vitamin D. I thought I should make a brief note about having adequate vitamin D if you're not having that access to, especially because if you're a Muslim woman or just someone who covers more of their skin, your hands and face are the main way, and then now your face isn't getting any. And the reason vitamin D is so important is I think a lot of people will know that it's really important for having strong bones and teeth and things like that. Your body needs vitamin D to absorb calcium. So you know calcium, strong bones and all of that stuff. But actually the calcium that you drink in your milk or whatever, it just goes straight through you if you don't have enough vitamin D. Vitamin D fixes the calcium to the bones. And the teeth and things like that. So it's really important to have strong bones and stuff. But another thing that people don't mention often enough is vitamin D is really closely implicated in things like depression. So a lot of the time when you have low mood and things like that, it could just be malnutritional, like it often is how your body is telling you that actually you're really deficient in certain minerals, and vitamin D is a big one. So low vitamin D is a cause of depression. And so obviously I don't want anyone to be depressed. I want all of us to have strong bones and stuff. So with vitamin D absorption, for me, I really do try and get as much sunlight as possible on my arms and hands and things. For people of all of this information, I really should disclaim is premised around people with dark skin. As I said, I make skincare videos for people of color. Obviously everyone is totally welcome to watch these videos, and I would love if you benefit from that advice, but my advice is kind of centered around POC just because I don't think there's enough content that is catered to us. So yeah, that's that on that. And but obviously everyone's welcome to watch, literally everyone. But yeah, so obviously if you have very pale skin or white skin, actually you need to be more concerned about skin cancer and things like that. And actually, people with paler skin, their bodies actually make vitamin D more easily in response to sunlight. So it's actually easier to be, it's actually replete or have enough vitamin D if you have paler skin anyway. So if you have darker skin, your body, it takes a lot of sunlight for your body to start making vitamin D. So yeah, so basically vitamin D absorption, I personally try and get as much as I can on my arms and hands. Like literally, if I'm sat in the shade, like I'll put my arm out so it's in the sun, or my hand even. And then if you are someone who covers more of their skin and that would be acceptable to you, I would say hands. And then I would say top up your vitamin D. So I take a vitamin D spray every day. I spray it under my tongue. I'll link it. I say every day. I forgot to take it with me when I moved to this new place. I haven't taken it in the past 2 weeks, and you know, my wrist has been hurting more, but that could be a psychological thing. Yeah, so I spray that every day. I used to every winter get a vitamin D injection of like a massive amount of vitamin D. Vitamin D is a vitamin that is fat soluble, so your body stores it in fat. The reason that's significant is your body can have a big store to keep you going. So in winter, I'd get a vitamin D injection. And the clinic I used to go to closed, and I'm like, I don't know where to go. So I'm going to hopefully do that again this winter, just because in winter it's even harder to get any sunlight exposure. But I want to make it very clear, you can't do that with all vitamins. So for example, vitamins B and C, your body excretes them every single day. So your body doesn't store them up. So you need to be having a little bit every day. So like vitamin C, like eating a bit of fruit or vegetables, whatever, is probably enough vitamin C to have every day. But vitamin D is one your body can store up. So I, as I said, have a spray that I use daily, and then I get a winter top up, a winter boost. But obviously all of these things should be guided by blood tests. So get a blood test with your doctor to check that you're actually vitamin D deficient. Although if you have dark skin, it's extremely, extremely, extremely likely that you are, especially if you live in the UK or somewhere that's not sunny. And lastly, I had a couple of questions about hydroquinone, because some people had already started it and they were really concerned. I might make a separate video about hydroquinone, because I think there's one rare type of hyperpigmentation called dermal pigmentation, so very, very, very deep hyperpigmentation, that I think that is the only time I would say it's acceptable, and I think which has a blue or a grey tone to it. There's a girl called Alicia Latte, I'm not sure how you say her surname, but I've been messaging her a couple of times, and she is a biomedical science student, and she's also an esthetician, or an esthetician in training. And her Instagram, she's got a really good infographic on hyperpigmentation. I would really recommend it. I'm going to link her Instagram below, and her social media. But yeah, I think in dermal melanosis or dermal pigmentation, where it's very, 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 very deep, vast majority of people with hyperpigmentation do not have. I think in that case it can have some utility. Also though, is with hydroquinone, obviously it's not good for the reasons I stated in my last video, but I would say the main thing is cycling treatment, and I don't think this is made very clear. So you have to do 3 months on, 3 months off, 3 months on, 3 months off if you're going to use hydroquinone. And you know, I'll get into it more another time if people want, if that's something you want to see. I'm gonna stop there. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe and comment, and put the notification bell on if you want to know when I next make a video. So I'm really grateful. Wow, once again, thank you so much. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Yeah, dirty. How we let it get like this? I don't know.